Hi everyone, my name is Prabhat and in this video I am going to discuss about load balancing. This is the topic which you come across many places whenever you learn any system design problem. So in this video I am going to cover what is load balancers, why the load balancer is needed and what are the different algorithms used for the load balancer. So let us start now. So let us take example of Facebook server. So Facebook server deployed a multiple server in order to handle the client request. So there are number of users. So here are number of users who want to connect to these servers. So there should be some mechanism in order to distribute the load on this server. So the one way we can achieve using the DNS load balancing mechanism. So in the case of DNS load balancing mechanism, whenever the request comes, user will be redirected to the server. So DNS use a round robin algorithm to distribute the load on the server. So the first request A will go to the S0. Thus other request from B will be redirected to the S1, and for C it will be redirected to S2, and for D it will be redirected to the S0. This is how the DNS round robin works. This works very well for a smaller set of system. But if the application like Facebook where lots of server deployed right in the backend, so in that case, if any failure on this server, the system will not respond properly. Let us see how. So we are assuming, since this is a round robin algorithm, we are expecting the 33% of load on this server, 33% of load on this server, 33% of load on this server. If the total load is 100, it will be approximately around 33%. So if this server goes down, then almost 33% of the load will be not be reachable from the user, because DNS server does not use any health check mechanism to check which server is up and running. So and this server goes down in between. So this is not a recommended solution if you are developing any large scale application. So in that case, load balancer will be very handy, who will distribute the load on the different server. So let us understand how the load balancer works. In the case of load balancers sits in between the user and the server. So in the case of load balancer, user make a first call to DNS server. So if they want to connect to Facebook application, then this DNS server will resolve the IP address of this load balancer. So for all users, the DNS server will resolve the IP address of the load balancers. So load balancer will be responsible to distribute the load on this server using a different algorithm, which I am going to cover in this video. So in this case, what happened if this node goes down? So in this case, the load balancer detect the node and load balancer stops sending any other request to this server. So they do health check, and based on that, this load balancer will make a health check to see whether this server is up and running or not. And if it is not running, load balancer will stop sending the request to this server. So let us understand what are the benefit of load balancers. So the first benefit is hidden server maintenance. So in this case, if I want to upgrade some hardware or software on this system, I can take this server out for the maintenance. I can upgrade this and then again put it back. This load balancer will be aware about all the changes, and the user is not aware what is happening on this layer. So in this case, we can put the server into the maintenance, we can take it out or we can put it back. This user will not be impacted with this. The second benefit is increase or decrease the capacity. Let us assume that this is an e-commerce website like Amazon.com, and some sales happening on some date. That day we experience more load on this server. So in that case, we can add another server in this layer to balance the load on the server. Also, we can take this server out whenever the sales end. We can increase or decrease the capacity of the server based on the requirement. The third benefit, efficient failure management. So as I already discussed, this load balancer keep on making a health check to check which server is in good condition, which server have more load, which server is already down. So those things will be taken care by this load balancers. So in this case, we can manage this failure efficiently and this user will not be impacted. There will be no downtime for all these users. So these are the benefit of the load balancers. So let us understand what are the algorithm used for the load balancers. First algorithm is round robin. So this, as I discussed already about the DNS round robin algorithm. Similarly, this round robin used by the load balancer to distribute the load on this server. So let us say in the case of round robin load balancer, if the A request goes to S0, the B request will be redirected to S1 and then the next request C will be redirected to S2. Because these are requests in order and the same request we can redirect it to this server. So if the D and E, D will be redirected to S0 and E will be redirected to S1 and so on. This is how the round robin works. So this round robin works very well if all the server will have the similar configuration. But let us assume that this server is 32 GB using the 32 GB RAM. And this server is using 16 GB RAM. This server is using 32 GB of the RAM. In that case, what will happen if you use the simple round robin algorithm? So there will be chances that the number of load will be more on this server. There will be chance that this server might get crashed. So in order to avoid that, we can use the weighted round robin algorithm. So in the case of weighted round robin algorithm, we can define some weight on each server. Since these servers are double capacity than this, we can define the weight 2 here, 1 here and 2 here. So in that case, the request will come from A, right? So A will come here. The B request will come to the load balancer. The weighted round robin load balancer will distribute the load of B to the S0 only. The next request, C, the load balancer will redirect the request to S1 and then D and E will be redirected to S2 because this have more capacity than this one. So in that case, we can utilize the server well and chances of failure will be very, very less. The third one is least connections. In the case of least connection, so there will be chance the request is not distributed equally on this server. So in that case, least connection will be very handy to redirect the load on the server where the server having very least connection. But in this case, we are making another call to check which server have the lesser number of active connections and all. So we are making some extra calls, so that will be little bit costlier. The fourth one is sticky load balancer. In the case of sticky load balancer will resolve IP address of the server for the particular users. If the first request is redirected to this S0, all the subsequent requests for A will be redirected to S0. Similarly, if the load balancers identified this server for B request, so in that case, all the subsequent requests from B will go to the S1. So we are using a sticky load balancer here. If we are using any state related data like HTTP session, or we are using managing files in this system. So in that case, we can go for a sticky session. But if these are the web server, so we know that web server is the first point of contact for the users. So we should not store all this information on this server. We can store session data on some of the cache server like Redis, and we can store this other files related data on the file storage system like S3 or Azure Blob. I have made a detailed video about this and this, how to manage the files or how to manage the session data so that we can scale our application horizontally. If you are interested, you can just watch. I'll give that link into the I button, and also I'll give the link into the description. So if you are interested, please go through that. There are a number of algorithms used for this load balancing, but these two are very popular and most of the companies are using this. The purpose of covering this topic is to, you may come, as I mentioned in the beginning, you may come across the many places. So that I thought to give you heads up about how the load balancing works. So you will have some idea whenever you see all this load balancing related terminology. So I'm assuming that this video will be helpful for you, and if you have any question, please drop in the comment. I will definitely answer your question. And if you have any suggestion also, please feel free to drop in the comment. And thank you for watching.